Claeys. That is, got my watch in there. Which Target? That's the one I know. I'm trying to think how to get there again. The next Target I can go to is Kaluma. And now, I mean, yeah, I would here, but no, I don't want to do that. My bag, I don't think that would be safe enough. And I'm not wearing a mask. That's have to go to the bathroom. Sheesh. We're gone. I just went. Man, I hate this. Oh, it's 60, duh.
Fractional.
It's 60.
Washington, but that are actually also working with the Pentagon. People that you would think wouldn't get those jobs in the first place, but then on top of that, they maybe would have been vetted to make sure that an infiltration of this sort did not occur. It appears right now, we really look at this honestly, and I think there are a number of us, probably yourself included, who have long believed that there has been a plot to undermine America's position as it relates to Iran. I think it's clear at this point that that is what has occurred, that there is an investigation right now that is ongoing. My hope is that the intelligence community gets to the bottom of this and that there are prosecutions if in fact there was wrongdoing.
Well, I don't think that'll happen in the next 14 months. I think we need a new president. We need to elect a new president, and then we can have some justice to deal with the fifth column. Jonathan, it was one of the proudest moments in my career in the Oval Office when Steve Bannon and I were in front of the cabinet and President Trump told us, he called up his head and he said, Steve, tell these guys why we have to cancel the Iran deal. And we did our elevator pitch. We told them why it's bad for Israel, bad for the region, bad for the safety of all Americans. And then, of course, the president canceled it. Can you explain why the Obama administration and this administration is so wedded to the idea of helping Iran? What on earth is the motivation?
Look, I think with the Obama administration, there was an attempt to try to turn Iran into an asset, to make it no longer an enemy by inviting it to enjoy the spoils of the U.S.-led financial system, to allow it to enter into the community of nations after years of really self-imposed exile, if we were to be honest about what the Iranians have done. The malign activity, the support for terrorism, all of the terrible things that we've seen them do to Americans and to Middle Easterners, for that matter. There was an attempt, I think it was too clever by half if we were to look back. And naive, absolutely. Then, I think you have exactly this moment that you described where President Trump, completely eviscerated the deal and got America out of it and started putting pressure
approaching a railroad crossing.
Maximum pressure campaign that put Iran on its back foot. That was, by the way, also further cemented by the killing of Qasem Soleimani after he and the IRGC had been taking shots at our troops overseas. What we saw with the return of the Biden administration was an attempt to get back into this deal. I don't know if it was as ideological, if I'm to be honest. You had a lot of people, I think, that were simply trying to restore the legacy, such as it is, of Barack Obama.
Because we got rid of it, it has to be redone.
Correct. It was just anti-Trumpism.
Right.
It was pro-Obamism, if you will. It was, right, if they did...
Well, and a lot of these guys are still in administration. So Obama's flunkies are all over the place. Therefore, it's kind of the default setting.
So now, but here's the interesting thing. This entire paradigm has collapsed. If you look at what's happened now over the last...
There's no Iran deal going to happen in the next 14 months.
The United States has deployed aircraft carriers to the region to threaten the Iranians to try to contain a wider war. We are threatening Hezbollah, right? Iran has unmasked itself with the sheer number of Shia militias that it is deploying right now against Israel and against the United States. The U.S. is taking fire right now from militias aligned with Iran in places like Iraq and Syria, and we are responding with force. The entire paradigm that we could somehow convert Iran into, it is out the window. What is actually amazing to me, and it's an anecdote, but I think it's really worth conveying here, Maybe you heard about this Jake Sullivan piece that appeared in Foreign Affairs.
Which was edited after it was published.
After the war erupts, he goes back in the online version, the print version you can't change, or he goes back into the online version, he starts deleting entire paragraphs. Let me ask you something. If you are the national security advisor for the President of the United States and you are deleting paragraphs in your own personal article, is it not time for a top-down review of your Iran policy and your Middle East policy?
You may have to delete your policy. We're talking to Jonathan Shanza of the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. Follow him at Shanza. And don't forget to follow us. We are on all the social media platforms that matter. Just look for Seb Gorka or Sebastian Gorka on Truth Social, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Parler, Get It, Telegram. You can watch us on the Salem News Channel app. And don't forget my Substack, new articles every week, SebastianGorka.substack.com. That's my whole name. There's one word, SebastianGorka.substack.com. Stay with us. I'm always Jonathan Shanza after this break.
The United States Constitution guarantees every American fundamental rights and protection of life, liberty, and property. Salem is celebrating our founding document with the special offer, a 1953 Oman U.S. Constitution lithograph. To understand the value of these lithographs is to know the story. A master lithographer immigrant named Theodore Oman came to this country to find the American dream. 70 years ago, in 1953, Oman printed a limited number of these exceptional Constitution lithographs. Go to SalemEventStore.com to read Oman's entire story. America's most important document stands as a testament to all Americans to maintain their liberty, freedom, and inalienable rights. Buy it and display it proudly. Buy a gift for your family and friends. And for all the teachers in your community, there is a limited number, so act today. Go to SalemEventStore.com.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
1953 Oman U.S. Constitution lithograph while supplies last. That's SalemEventStore.com.
Some surprises are good, some surprises are life-changing, and some surprises can be financially devastating. That's why you need 210 Home Buyer's Warranty. 210 Home Buyer's Warranty covers electric heating, cooling, and water heater, and appliances like your fridge from breakdowns caused by routine use. Because something will break down right when you need it most. A refrigerator breakdown can cost over $1,200 to replace. With 210, as little as $85. Water heater breakdown nearly $1,800. With 210, as little as $85. AC breakdown $2,500. With 210, as little as $85.
I enjoy knowing that any issues I may have with my home will be taken care of.
Everything is professional.
The response and service is always timely and professional.
No matter the age of your home or appliances, a home warranty service agreement from 210 Home Buyer's Warranty can help reduce your financial stress. Call 800-458-8877. That's 800-458-8877. 800-458-8877. Call now to get 2 months free.
This is some points of clarity related to the October 7th massacre in Israel. The animating hatred of Hamas terrorist attack in Israel was specific. This was a pogrom against Jews. For Islamist fanatics such as these, though, a more basic motivation is this. They want Jews dead. As Israel fights to defend their nation, it also needs to be pointed out that this is not the clash of civilizations that Samuel Huntington predicted in the 1990s. It is a clash between the civilized, the West, and the barbaric. Unless we recognize the barbarity, the depth of depravity coursing through Hamas, which is really just an arm of Iran, we cannot possibly defeat it. The question on many people's mind is whether or not the post-Christian West can even rally to its own defense. The U.S. and the West has received an urgent wake-up call. We need to heed it. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting Israeli troops have encircled Gaza City in heavy fighting with terrorists, the military says, as the Palestinian death toll rises above 9,000. U.S. and Arab leaders are raising pressure on Israel to ease its siege and at least briefly halt its attacks in order to aid civilians. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was heading to the region for talks Friday in Israel and Jordan. President Biden has suggested a humanitarian pause in the Gaza fighting to let in aid for Palestinians and let out foreign nationals. Minnesota's Supreme Court justices appear skeptical of states that have the authority to block ex-President Trump from the 2024 ballot. Some of the justices suggested Thursday Congress is best positioned to decide whether Trump's alleged role in the U.S. Capitol riots should prevent him from running. More details at SRNnews.com.
Call me, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, at 833-33-GORKA. You're listening to America First on 860 AM The Answer. Welcome back to America First One-on-One with FTV's Jonathan Shanzer. If you enjoy what we provide for you here on America First, support those who make it possible. Great patriots and friends of President Trump like Mike Lindell. He's celebrating 20 years of My Pillow, the pillow that never gets hot, never loses shape. He sold 81 million of them. Yes, they are that good. But did you know he's got more than 200 other items on his website made by Americans in America for you? Check them all out at mypillow.com. Use my name for up to 66% off. They range from the My Pillow pet beds. My dog's Killian and they love them. My favorite are the sheepskin-lined slippers. Get into them as soon as I remember. They have towels, mattress toppers, pajamas, you name it. Check them out at mypillow.com. Don't buy that Chinese garbage on Amazon. Call them up. Talk to a human being. How nice is that? 800-829-8468. That's 800-829-8468. mypillow.com. Promo code GORKA. Now, we've spoken about Hamas, the conflict in Israel, Iranian influence here. Can you just paint a picture of us briefly of the web that is Iranian influence? From the Houthis to the West Bank, they don't do conventional warfare. They would lose in a conventional war with America, but they really are good at indirect warfare and using other parties, aren't they?
They are. As we like to say, they fight Israel to the last Arab.
Explain why that's important, because Iran is, of course...
Iran, these are Persians, right? These are people who don't actually, they look with disdain at the Arab world.
And they see themselves as thousands of years more advanced than the Arab world.
Correct, right? And here they've deployed a bunch of different militias, all using Arab fighters.
Yeah.
And
smart.
Well, yeah, if you want to preserve your own territorial integrity and not draw fire. I think, by the way, those days are likely over. Israel comes out of this in one piece. There will be a time where I think Israel begins to target the regime itself. Right now, just to be clear, what we're watching is the first phase of what will be a much longer battle. Israel will not allow for this to continue.
So here's what I've been counseling since the beginning, and I'm kind of surprised and disappointed that Israel hasn't done this, because they've done it in the past, and I wanted to see it on steroids.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
The funder, the real plan of all this, then instead of just waiting for a ground incursion and letting out, I was expecting maybe 3 dozen teams of Mossad agents to be traveling the world and killing Iranian leaders. Terrorists.
Well, that'll come.
But why not now?
Well,
just like after Munich, let's do it.
Yeah,
that sends a message.
I don't think Munich happened immediately, right? It took time. These things will take some planning, but I would be shocked if we didn't see a Munich 2.0 campaign. Every external Hamas leader, every external Hezbollah leader.
That's located in Delta.
Yeah, and I'm talking about in all of the jurisdictions where they're active, and people don't realize Hamas is active.
Give me some examples.
Yeah, Hamas is active in Turkey, a NATO ally. Those guys are probably not long for this world. They're active in Qatar, major non-NATO ally, also not probably long for this world. Lebanon, Malaysia, Kuwait, Algeria, you name it.
And closer to home in our hemisphere.
Oh, for sure. There are Latin American Hezbollah operatives everywhere. The high likelihood that we will start to see some bloodletting in this regard. But just to get back to your original question, you need to look at the map right now where Iran's assets are currently firing at Israel or against the United States. It is really astounding when you think about what's happening in the region, right? You have obviously the Gaza Strip. That's the first place that's lit up. The West Bank, right? That's another place that's got Hamas. It's got Islamic Jihad. It's got Hezbollah there. You've got Lebanon, which has Hezbollah, but also contingents of Islamic Jihad and Hamas as well. Then on top of that, you've got the Houthis firing out of Yemen. You've got Shiite militias firing at the United States, out of Syria. And by the way, Syria, they're also firing at Israel. Really interesting there, by the way, is the U.S. and Israel are targeting assets within the same borders completely coordinated, deconflicted, where they're striking themselves and making sure that they don't hit each other. Very interesting to see that. That's actually a sign of the immense amount of cooperation and coordination that's taken place between our two countries now for decades running. And you can see the fruits of that paying off.
We're talking to Jonathan Shands, the FDD.org, the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, coming to you from just outside the insalubrious, fetid, rank, malodorous swamp that is Washington, D.C. From the ReliefFactor.com studios, dear friends, if you own a cell phone, please tell me it is not connected to the big cell phone provider. They hate America as well. They're woke. There's only one Christian conservative cell phone company. The one I use. They've been around for 10 years and they're on your side. They have the same nationwide coverage as the big companies, but they're conservative. Glenn and his team are superb. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to causes you believe in, the sanctity of life, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Switch today. Send them a message about your support for free speech, the founding principles of this nation. Keep your votes for the working gentleman parade. Free activation with my name. Extra discount for veterans. Call them today. 972 Patriots. Go to patriotmobile.com/Morgan. That's 972-728-patriotmobile.com/Jesus. We'll be back one-on-one with the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, Jonathan. Solutions that promote freedom and quality of life? Or are they creating problems, enforcing solutions that only benefit the elite? Might have gone from draconian COVID restrictions to decimation of small businesses and changed election laws which may have led to a Biden presidency. Midas believes your finances will be next. Under the guise of protecting you, you'll get monetary expansion, national debt, and reduced purchasing power. And this cryptocurrency will virtually eliminate your savings and purchasing privilege. The answer, convert a portion of your savings or IRA to physical gold and silver. Precious metals are a private currency. They're fighting for your financial freedom and freedom. Call Midas Gold Group, 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653, or go to MidasGoldGroup.com. Please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my ugly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new and different FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus. And you can be too. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-354-1862. That's 800-354-1862. Eliminate your all guaranteed. Call now, 800-354-1862. Or visit crystalflush.com.
COVID-19 scenario, covert climate engineering operations were wreaking havoc with weather all over the world, without the totality of the if you're looking to see shocking, verifiable realities that mainstream media sources and their distracting device talking heads will never tell you,